The Nigerian political atmosphere is steered in recent times owing to the fact that the Gale of Diffection by a political party celebrating all progressive Congress is indeed taking the center stage. However, though, there has been these back and forth whether or not Nigeria is gradually navigating towards one party system. Hello, dear. It's a pleasure to have you join us on Political Affairs. My name is Chris Jacobs. I'm being joined by Honorable Anas Bala. He is a young political activist, and of course, he joins me now to further the conversation on this particular talking point. Anas, it's a pleasure to have you on Political Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. Chris. It's a nice pleasure to be here.
Indeed. I'd like to, first of all, start by, commending you, your voice to the voiceless when it comes to, participation in political activities in Adamawa, regardless of your political inclination.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Good. But in furtherance of these talking point, what do you make of the current political atmosphere, in Nigeria? It seems the water is being stirred already as regard to perhaps preparatory to 2027 general election.
Well, truly speaking, you have said it all. I think the current administration have just lasted 2 years. It's just 2 years because in a few coming days, they'll be marking their 2 years in office, which is the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And we still have 2 years down there. And prior to this, you've seen a lot of political conversations and momentum is getting higher day by day. We've seen, the opposition party trying to come together to speak with one voice, with common force. We've heard about the talk of coalitions and all that. And we've also seen the, government of the APC trying to put themselves, in a specific direction toward confronting the 2027 general election. So, to me, it's really unfortunate. I mean, what we should all be expecting by this time is governance, especially to those who are in power. They should be able to focus on delivering good governance to the people, on delivering some of the campaign promises they've made. But it's quite unfortunate that we're seeing this, and I think some of these things that the government is power is looking at, they're basically looking at how the opposition parties are trying to fix themselves. So if you're not able to curtail some of these things by this time, then definitely maybe it should be too late for you. And that's going to be very devastating, a serious issue for them. Things.
So talking about opposition parties, right?
Yeah, the ruling party, they are trying to see how they can fix that is the political party I belongs to, not they fix so that they can curtail some of the challenges that the opposition parties are trying to fix together. Because
I don't have to get you. If you say the ruling party, is trying to fix some of the challenges that the opposition parties, are trying to come up with. Can you a little bit outline some of these challenges that the ruling of Progressive Congress is fixing? Or is the whole Progressive Congress a little bit jittery?
No, the challenge here is that what the ruling old Progressive Congress is looking at is that the opposition parties are trying to come together. Both some forces within the APC are moving out to join some forces within the PDP and the NNPP, the Labour Party. News are everywhere. So what the ruling party is looking at is that, look, in as much as we're delivering governance now, and the opposition are trying to come with single force, like a coalition, we should be able to know that's how we're going to contend that. And that's what I'm speaking about. You've seen defections from the members of the National Assembly who are from PDP to the APC, some who are from NNPP have moved to the APC, and you have seen their governor, even the governor of Delta State, who have shifted from the PDP to the APC, and then I heard about the governor of Akwa Ibom too, who is revenged. So these are some of the things I'm talking about. The ruling party is looking at some of the strategies that the opposition parties are working on. So they're trying to protect that while they are focusing, on delivering good governance to people. They are also drawing their attention also to the political arena so that it will not be needed for them, to contend with.
But of course, there has been these, suspicion, put it that way. Looking at the Gale of Diffection, you just mentioned the Delta State governor, his predecessor, Ifeanyi Okowa, who was, of course, the running mate of and former vice president, the presidential flag bearer of the People Democratic Party in the 2023 general election, also defected to the All Progressive Congress. And people are beginning to ask questions whether or not Nigeria is navigating or drifting towards one party system. Do you think that would be healthy for Nigeria? I ask you this question now as one who understands politics in Nigeria.
Well, I don't think that is good for our democratic antecedents. I don't think one party system will be good, for a multifaceted country like Nigeria, which has, we all got a lot of differences in this country. And I think people must have the right to express their political views across different. I mean, politics should be about ideology. We should be able to focus on the reasons why political parties even exist. If we don't do that, certainly I think we're missing. Because sometimes when we open these kind of conversations, a lot of people forget, the basis, the criteria of even joining a political party. Political parties are about ideology. So you should be able to believe in the ideology of party A. Someone should be able to believe in the ideology of party B. And someone will also believe in the ideology of party A. But we cannot just have all of us to believe in the ideology of a single political party. I don't think this will overwhelm in our democratic antecedent. And it has been a theme of recurrent decimal in this country. Politicians are just like, a cow headsman, a cow headers who just move from one place to another seeking for greener pasture. And I think this had been the call that many scholars and many elders in this country have spoken about. Now we should be able to give orientations for even younger ones who are joining politics like myself. You should be able to understand why you are joining politics and why you are joining the political party. Why you are joining politics will define your own principles. When eventually you get opportunity to serve, and each political party you set up to join, you should be able to understand the criteria and the reasons why you are joining the political party. If I believe in the ideology of the old progressive Congress, then I should be in the old progressive Congress. That's the APC. If I believe in that of PDP or the Labour Party, or someone will even believe in the ideology of YP, because maybe it speaks more on the voices of the younger ones. It speaks more on the voices of the youth and all that. So coming to centralize on a single political party to make it, more or less one party system in this country is not good for us. I don't think.
But by your submission, it's defined the state of the fact that then the political parties in Nigeria are not ideologically based. Because you talked about allowing people to join other political parties based on their ideologies. But it seems that the parties in Nigeria do not have a
I think the issue we've had in our politics in this country is with the politicians themselves. Because when you want to fathom, if you want to just look at it from the general picture, it seems like the criteria, of setting up a political party across all these political parties have been laid down very chronically in their foundations. All of these political parties, when they go to register with a canvas at the time of putting up a political party, you will see that they have taken the right steps, having a good foundation, ideologies there, agendas there, and whatever. But our politicians here in this country are more or less people who want to always speak to their own interests rather than the political. But someone is even joining a political party today without even knowing a single ideology of the political party. We've had people who just want to cross carpet to political party because probably they've seen a better green light, or chances of them contesting election, or probably they've been offered, a slot of appointment or all that, without actually waiting or actually taking time to search and know the single ideology of that political party. So it is the politicians basically that disrupted everything. It is the politicians that make it to look more or less, politics is just about, a place of cash, a cash cow where you can just play your own interests, and if you can just milk out everything out of it or anything out of it, then you certainly go there.
But how do we get the politicians refined? The reformation I'm trying to put about here now is for them to understand that no matter the political party you belong to, you can as well ride on the wings of that political party to win an election. Besides, we have seen people who are coming in for the very first time, on the wings of other political parties like the Labour Party, NNPP, and other parties that are not too popular, but of course still win election. Why are they not, contented with these parties? And people are so much concerned about running to the ruling party.
Our democracy have come to a significant challenge, and it is so disheartening. I am one of those who had expected that by this time we should have had a better democracy, a better way of governance, a better delivery in terms of whatever agenda we have, much more better than what we're having now. In 2015, prior to 2015, 2023, prior to 2015, 2020, 2018, 2020, 2021, I've seen some significant move, institutionally, because how we can address some of these issues of ideology is fundamentally in our institutions. I've seen some significant move, both in the National Assembly and the government, also from the executive arm of the government, trying to see how we can make our institutions more stronger in terms of advocating reorientations to our politicians, so that we'll have a good breed of politicians that will actually understand why you join a political party and why you are in politics and which political party will suit your own ideology. But coming down to particular time where I've seen things have gone so bad. That is just the truth of the matter. I mean, by this time I should have expected, because all of the things we are going through, leadership is contributing to it. When you have a leadership that is more centric to how they can always win election, when you have a leadership, in a country that is more focused on how do we capture power, rather than making the institutions and the democracy very good, then this actually, comes to a stage that every other thing will be neglected. People will shift to political party, not because of ideologies. People will shift to whatever political party they believe, not because of they are convinced that that political party is what will suit their ideology. No, just because they want to capture power. If you look at the movement now, both from the opposition party and even the current ruling party in the country, it's all about how do we capture power. Nobody is talking about politics of ideology anymore. Nobody is talking about politics of delivering good governance. Look, when a nation is being overwhelmed by politicians who just want to capture power, a lot of these things will be neglected. Delivery, in terms of delivering, good governance to people, in terms of politics of ideology, in terms of politics of principles, all of these things are going to be thrown to the dogs to eat. They will focus more on the issue of capturing power.
Indeed, the conversation has just started and it's getting more interesting, but I would like to catch up rate a little bit so that we'll now come back and further, the conversation in this regard. All right, you're watching Political Affairs on Karma TV. We'll take a short break. I'll be back in a moment. Join us again. All right, glad to know you're still there. But if you have just joined us, you're watching Political Affairs on Kaba TV. And of course, I've been speaking with Honorable Anas Bala. He is a political activist and he has been conversing as regard to the development in Nigerian political trajectory. Now, before the break, you talked about the reason why some politicians actually defect or cross carpet or jump ship, no matter what word you want to make use of to our political parties, is because of lack of ideology in these political parties. But how do we get it right when it comes to upholding the tenets, apart from constitutions that political parties have, but infusing that ideological tendencies, in the heart of politicians?
Well, like I have spoken, that first of all, leadership matters in this. The crops of leaders you have in the place of authority will actually play a critical role in this. When you tend to have leaders, like I said, who ventured into politics or who are more of, having quests, only to capture power, to get into power. Then the institution itself will actually, be harmed with some of these things, or rather, we will see a low level of emphasis in terms of how do we reposition our democratic tenets to make it more stronger. And secondly, is that we must, as a citizens, account for accountability. Accountability is not just only by looking at the finances of the government, no. By holding government responsible for whatever things that we think it is being started in the constitutions to do. Government has the responsibility of making our institutions stronger. Government has a responsibility of making the followers who have allegiance to whatever belief we have in the country, either democracy or whatever system of government we tend to operate. Government has responsibility in giving them direction. I think we've made a call for so long justice that we need government to give more emphasis to make our institutions more strong, like the National Orientation Agency, the INEC itself. In fact, if we need other sister agencies to couple with civil society organization, we should come and start advocating for the younger ones, because I am looking at the future. Most of these leaders that we talked about, they are more interested in capturing power for forefathers. Some of us, we call them our granddads because they've given birth to children who ought to have given birth to us. So we need to focus on the youth now. Those who are interested to join politics should join politics of ideals. Those who are currently in the politics, probably looking, for opportunity to excel or to have opportunity to serve the people, should understand that they are in politics for principles and ideals. We should make political parties. We should make our political parties, because they are the incubators. They are the pedestal over which leaders who want to govern in democracy follow through. We should make those who are in the politics and those who want to join understand that politics is all about ideology, it's all about ideal. The current trend we are passing now of how I see politicians jumping ship from one political party to the other as if they are headsmen, it's very dangerous, and that will not over us anything good in this country, because the focus will be how do we acquire power, and once the power is there, the next focus is how do I retain myself in this power. It's about serving the people, and it's about delivering good governance, not about teaching the younger ones, setting them better examples of the tenants and the ideals of democracy.
But don't you think that the electorate themselves, have a huge role to play with regards to understanding the interest that is coming to play by politicians? You make mention of all they want is just to be in power, regardless of translating that opportunity into governance. So what role and what should the electorate be doing when it comes to times such as these?
This is one of the major challenges I think we're having in this country. Because one is that we have to look at our own civilization as a people in the country. Second is we have to also factor in a lot of issues like the economy itself. The current economic situations might not afford our citizens, the better fulcrum to make a wise talks in terms of looking at issues that involves in political parties. Because look, we tend to forget that each of these political parties by constitution ought to have registered members, either as an annual basis or periodical basis. I think it about before any political party congress to renew the mandate of those who manage the party affairs. Political parties have the responsibility of registering members. And how do they recruit some of these members? Because of some political party, after their party congress, they'll come out to tell you that we have about 10 million members who have registered with our political, who have signed with our political party. But how do they recruit these members? Some of the people are just some of the things. One of the things they normally do is just go to the grassroots, bring out people, and you just line up in queue. You obtain your membership registration without knowing anything about it. Then they pick up your data and go back to their secretariat. If certainly members are being recruited based on ideology, if certainly political parties are going to run like an institution, set up an institutions that will advocate to people, create an awareness and knowledge. You are joining political party A today, and this is our ideas and this is our ideology. Is it okay by you? Then the members, those who are going to be recruited, they'll say, yes, this is actually what we want. This is the tenant of what we're looking here, particularly with regards to the confine of our own location. Then certainly we are joining the political party. Are these things being done? And then again, And sometimes, even if I want to blame the citizens, I can't just, give them, a humongous percentage of blame, because the current economic situation will also come into play. We have a situation where people are struggling to feed themselves. People struggle to pay school fees. Youth struggle to see how they can even make ends meet, to prepare their own future, either getting married, building a house, or whatever. So there are a lot of things, because of the way the economic situation plays out, that you cannot blame the citizens. Whatever they see, they'll just place their hands on that and move away. But certainly, if governments are going to address some critical things and make our political party, by way of constitution, run political parties as if they are institutions on themselves, have different segments. This is how you carry on advocacy, because we cannot leave everything to the National Orientation Agency and the INEC. Political parties have the responsibility. If you want to register as a political party, then you must also know that your constitutional role is to carry out an advocacy of informing people about the ideals of your political party. And this is the criteria of how you are going to recruit people to be members of your political party. If you violate any of these, then INEC will deal with you the way it is constitutional. I think some of these things will address.
And perhaps just like you say, civil society organizations also should be, at the forefront also of this very enlightenment. All right. Now, the All Progressive Congress is having a summit, and of course, reason behind organizing this summit might be limited to the public, except otherwise if you're a member of the APC. Talk to me. What does the APC really want to achieve, with this summit? Because I've also seen during the summit, it's like a kind of a pride or brag that, okay, they're welcoming Delta State governor into the fold, and other, top PDP stalwart who recently defected to the All Progressive Congress.
Well, let me speak like a progressive member now.
Okay.
I think the general objective of the summit is part of the preparation toward marking the celebration of the 2 years toward the administration. And the party decided to begin with a summit. And the general objective of that, I think, is about to look at, to reflect on the past 2 years, what the government were able to do, and also to be able to run a scorecard on whether the government actually is moving in the foreign trend, or there's going to be some form of amendment that needs to be done. But of course, like I said, you cannot just take out politics from it, because the summit is being organized by the party itself, which is led by Dr. Umar Ganduje, who is national chairman. So I've seen a level of some kind of politics which have there, because politics normally, when a political party organize any political show, especially if they're in power, it's more of these things that you had. It's more of praise singing. It's more of, even if there are gray areas that they should have pinpointed to tell the leader, they won't do it openly. So whenever they comes into public, they organize anything. It's more of praise singing.
Why will it is it that they cannot do it or they will not do it?
How the political party normally operates is that they have different kind of segments, different kind of organs, that if they want anything to be communicated to the president, they felt that they have better way of doing that, which normally goes covertly. When we say covertly, it's secretly. So I think, for us to expect that the political party, after organizing a show, will come that day and scold the president, to scold the president on some of the things he does, I don't think we'll see that. So, it's part of politicking. You cannot take this away from politicians, and they normally have a general summit where they've gathered some of the people who are there, including the national security advisor. I saw him roll out his achievement, some other few things on that. That's basically it. But then again, like I said, I will always call on the president as a member of the All Progressive Congress that it's time Nigerians start to feel the impact of some of these policies, because to be honest, I and you and many other Nigerians have paid the price of that. They've been a serious and difficult time for
but
in the last 2 years.
sometimes there are policies that is futuristic in nature, and that's what the president is saying, that Nigerians will definitely get to enjoy this policy. Is it? But the negative impact on it is having a toll on the greater majority of Nigerians, and that indeed is undermining the genuinity, of this policy. Whether or not it is actually
I agree with you.
utilizer.
I agree with you. And mind you, if you belongs to the APC, you will always wish the president do so because it gives you more softness to approach the people and vote for their support.
Does APC have a different market price to go to compared to other persons who
No.
to other political parties?
No.
Of course. So what is good for the goose also good for the gander, isn't it? All right. I would like to catch up, Britt, so that when we come back for this final lap. But before then, I'd like you to ponder on this. While the Gale of Defection is still on the front burner, there is also what is known as in the center stage, talking about the coalition, spearheaded by the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, as well as former Kaduna State Governor, who was a bona fide member of the All Progressive Congress but fell apart out of favor with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Isn't that coalition a message that is sent already to the bone marrows of the ruling All Progressive Congress? And how is the All Progressive Congress taking with the issue of this coalition? Is taking it lightly or not? Ponder on it. We'll come back. We will talk some more. All right, we'll take a short break. We'll be back in a moment. Join us again.